Smiles. How do our patients see a smile? You know, patients, they look at a smile, but what they look at, they request faces. You know, how do they see smiles? This is often smiles I get requested from patients. I'm not sure about the same for you guys, what you see, but that's what patients see as smiles. And then how do we look at smiles? And we're going to see things a lot differently, a lot more detail, a lot more information, and maybe get caught up too much into it and lose some of the artistic ability in a smile design. So of all these things we're going to look at, they're all critical, they're all important. We're not going to achieve all of them at one time in a smile design. It's going to be, again, like I said, a series of compromises. And I'd also the mistake I learned is I got so caught up in the analytical aspect of it, because that's kind of the way I do things, I was missing the artistic capacity. And I think that's part of this whole idea of analysis is getting back to that artistic capacity and keeping in mind that artistic approach to it as well. And the dynamics of someone's face and how things can look different. And if you don't just look at the teeth, look at someone's face. And you know, the kind of facial types we have that we look at. And I won't spend a lot of time talking about facial types, but we have, you know, a brachyfacial type, more of a square-looking facial pattern, mesiofacial, more of a balanced smile, and dolichofacial, more elongated face. And what do we find aesthetically pleasing? Well, we can't change someone's face, but I want to kind of get an idea about those things about the face and think of, we typically find most pleasing a balanced face. And this happens to be Florence Colgate. She was one of 8,000 people that submitted cases or submissions to the Great Britain Society of whatever, and they picked what they thought was the most balanced, aesthetically pleasing face. And it's a mesiofacial type face, very balanced. And what makes a face balanced? And I want to go through this because I want to take it back into the teeth and then pull back out of the teeth in that process. And so a balanced face has balance in the facial thirds, from the hairline to the eyebrow line, to the base of the nose, to the chin. In an ideal smile, ideal face, an oval face, balance would be what we'd see in balance in there. We'd also see then in the lower facial height, from base of nose to base of chin, the commissures would be 1/3 of that dimension, between the nose to the chin. That would be a nice, ideally balanced face. With that being said, we can look at the width of someone's mouth would match the limbus of their eyes. The distance would be equal. We can look at the midline. Obviously, the midline would be a balanced line. Rarely in anybody's face is the midline a line. It's a curve. Your left side or right side face is longer than the other side. So eyes and commissures may be perpendicular to that midline, but that midline is not a straight line. It's a curve. Do the teeth follow the eyes? The teeth follow the commissures? Where do the teeth fit in with that? If we look at the rules of the fifths, that the facial width and the eye width, that your face is 1/5 the width of your eye. And that if you look at the all or base of nose is equal to the width of one eye. We'll talk about the central incisor is equal to 1/16 the width of someone's face. Now that we can control to a degree. And we can influence that or change that. So how's this all sound to you guys? Sounding pretty good? Sounding a little foreign? Ja.
Das hier ist mein Sektor. Das hier ist das wichtigste Gerät des Küstenwächters. Das Gerät und das Gerät. Überlebensradar.
Mayday, Mayday. Hello, can you hear us? Can you hear us? Can you... Over. We are sinking. We are sinking.
Hello? This is the German Coast Guard.
We are sinking. We're sinking.
What are you thinking about?
Alrighty. So, of the tools we're going to use, I want to walk us through the smile design image. And this handout is available online of that process to walk through. And what it is basically just taking like denture setups. And I'm just taking the key points of a denture setup in incisal edge position, midline and canting, axial inclinations, gingival architecture, and embrasures. That's my idea of how I want to go through. And I take that to go through and break apart a smile, look at a smile, what's good about a certain category, what's not so good, and then what can I correct, what can't I correct, what do I have control over, what don't I have control over. And what will the treatment plan allow me to do? Finances allow me to fix and change. So my idea of that is I'll walk us through the first being the incisal edge position. And that incisal edge position to me is the genesis of the smile design. If you can set up the incisal edge of 8 and 9 where you want them to be, of 1, 1, 2, 1, you know where they're supposed to be, and you've got the horizon and midline, you're pretty much set. From that point on, it becomes individual, artistic characteristics. But in designing a smile, in changing a smile, you want to start there and begin there and get that part nailed. And how is that to relate to the whole face and the balance of someone's face? And incisal edge position can have a lot of factors with the tooth and lip at rest positions. It can be the smile dynamics, lip dynamics, phonetics, gender, how much and where that incisal edge position is going to show in someone's face. From that, then, there's some rules and parameters you want to look toward to try and match up. And so back to the balance of the face. If you look between the upper lip and lower lip when someone says an E sound, is some tools to use to start to guide where would that incisal edge position be balanced. It would be 1/3 between the upper lip and lower lip. 2/3, 1/3 rule. That's not always right, but it may be 7 to 8 out of 10 times as a way to guide yourself about where do I want the incisal edge position to begin. People wear their teeth down incisally. They don't wear them down mesial distally much at all. So you can measure the width of someone's central and get an idea where the length used to be, where it should be, where it was. You can also use Jack Tuberville's rule, the 22 millimeter rule, in a denture setup. We get our wax rim back from the lab. Is it arbitrary how long they make that wax rim? Or is there a number or design, an idea with that? And if you look at where a denture flange would end, and you measure 22 millimeters from that denture flange ending, that would be incisal edge position of 8, 9. 9 out of 10 times. Not every time, but a great place to start and guess where should that incisal edge position be. That's about right. And then from there, you work it to where you want to go and decide what's going to work right within artistic capacity. You can look within functionality. How long can the centrals be? Will they clear and function? Are they going to be protected by canine guidance or not? How long can I make the canines protect these long centrals? That can be a factor in function in deciding, is this going to work? Are they going to be nailed in occlusion and centric, excursive movements? How will that function work? Also looking at, again, how does that incisal edge position show in someone's smile? Repose, normal smile, or maximum smile? And use that as a guide to look at someone's smile. Where do I want those central incisors to be? How much do I think should show? And in someone in repose, you'd like to see a variations maybe 2 to 4 millimeters of incisal edge position of display. That's nice. You don't always get that. We're all different and unique, but that's another good starting point to try to find. And so if you can kind of get the way I'm saying this, there isn't one rule. There's many rules to look at or guidelines to follow to say, hey, if I try to make as many of these fit, where is that incisal edge position going to end up? Where will it show, where will it be, and how's that balance going to look?